Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elmo, and today I'm going to be going through my Gameweek 25 wildcard team. This is the team I'd be going for. It was decided to wildcard for Gameweek 25, and just to help anyone there who's thinking of a wildcard at this moment in time, as we look to plan for blank Gameweek 29 as well. I think this is an ideal team that I've been able to create, and I hope it's going to help you guys out. And yeah, so before we get into the wildcard team, if you're new around here, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Then don't miss any content going up on the channel as we push for 750 subscribers. Without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So we're going to start off with the defenders and the goalkeepers. And as you can see at the far right, we're going to be having other considerations as well. So we're going to start off with the goalkeepers. I'd go for Martinez in there just because I like the fixtures Aston Villa have coming up. And because, of course, they have a double game week in 25, I think it's ideal to go for a goal for a keeper in there for to have the double, to just prioritize the double game week fixtures, but keep in mind that the Aston Villa are blanking in game week 29. So I understand if you don't want to go full on for them, but I think for the double, just have to go for them. So I've gone for Martinez in there, and even after the double game week, they still have relatively good fixtures with Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and then Brentford before they blank. So I think it's still a good option to go for those fixtures. And as you can see, I've gone for Ariola in there. That's the cheapest playing goalkeeper, and it just works perfectly to have him in the team because in game 29 he's going to be available and they're going to be playing Everton. And of course, West Ham haven't looked the best this season, but at least he's a playing goalkeeper. He can give you, of course, 0 points, but he can still give you the 2 points even if they concede, rather than having 0 points in there. So I've gone for Ariola just because to cover the game with 29, and I think that's an ideal player to have in there. Then we have Kakez at 4.9 million. Um, I think Bournemouth have one of the easiest fixture runs on paper as they play Southampton, Wolves, Brighton, Spurs, Brentford, and Ipswich. I think in their next six. So that's why I've gone for Kakez in there, and he's been having a very wonderful season. So have Bournemouth, they've been looking incredible. That's why I've gone for him in there. Then you have Trent. They have a double game week as well for game week 25. They play Wolves and Aston Villa. So I think it's only ideal to go for him in there. And after the deadline, they still play. Even after the double game, they still play Man City. Have been looking very shaky defensively, so that will be a very ideal fixture for someone like Trent, can be able to exploit those spaces. And they play Newcastle, Southampton, and of course they blank in game 29 as well. So that's something else to consider with going for Aston Villa and Liverpool players. Then we have Lucadine at 4.6 million. I just finished watching the game against Spurs, and it looked very, very good going forward. So, and also on set pieces. That's why I've gone for him in there. And that's the same as Martinez. That will give me 25. There's no reason why to not go for him and take a punt on him. Then you have Ola Aina at 5.4 million. I know Ola Aina has been looking very good for Nottingham Forest, but they have a tough run of fixtures coming up. And although I still go for him because Forest have shown that they can able to beat any team and they can still able to keep clean sheets, but their run of fixtures is concerning because they play Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Man City, and then Ipswich in their next five. So those three fixtures in between Fulham and Ipswich are very tricky, but I'd still go for him. But if you don't want to go for him, I'd go for the other consideration, which is Munoz at 4.8 million. Crystal Palace have good fixtures as well, but they do blank in game week 29, so that's something to look out for. And that's why I think I'd just go for Aina in there and hope that it's going to perform in those run of tough fixtures. Then you have finishing off the team Greaves at 3.9 million. Just going for him because he's a very cheap option who plays for Ipswich team who are not looking good defensively, but hey, at least he plays and he's a very cheap option. That's why I've gone for him at 3.9 million. So that's the defense. I've already talked about Munoz, and then if you want, I think the only change I'd make is Aina to Munoz, but I think Aina is just a little bit better, but that's up to you. So that's the defense and the goalkeeping department. Now let's look at the midfield. So this is how the midfield is going to be looking like. Of course, going to be having Salah in there. As I mentioned for Trent, they have good fixtures coming up, and I think Salah has just been very good this season. He's not blanked a lot in the fixtures. May it be assists, may it be goals. He's just very good, and of course, he's on pens as well. That's why I've gone for him in there. Then we have Semenyo at 5.6 million. I can't lie, a little bit torn between Semenyo and Clivert. Clivert, of course, is more on form compared to Semenyo, and Clivert is on penalties as well. So, but I've just gone for Semenyo because he's a little bit cheaper, I think, by zero point 0.4 or 0.3 million. But personally, if I was not short on funds, I'd go for Clivert just because of the penalties that he is on, and penalty they've been getting a lot of penalties, and then just go for him instead. But for now, Semenyo is in there, and hope to be able to pick up form. They're going to be playing Southampton, who are very shaky. Although they did pick up a win against, was it Ipswich or was it Leicester? One of the teams they picked up a win, so maybe they'll be on form. But I still expect Bournemouth to go back to winning ways after their loss to Liverpool. Then we have Mbuemo at 7.9 million. I remember buying him for around 7 million, so it's incredible. It's only 7.9 million. But Brentford have also some of the easiest fixtures on paper as they play West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Villa, and Bournemouth in their next five. So their first three fixtures of that run look very winnable. And of course, when you look at at the score sheet, you always expect to see Bournemouth with a goal involvement or a goal himself. And of course, he's also on penalties. And that's why I've gone for Mbeumo in there. Then we have Rogers, still at 5.6 million, very cheap option who plays almost every game for Aston Villa. Managed to score today against Spurs in the FA Cup. But there's something to note about the Aston Villa boys is they have been able to strengthen in the summer, so that there might be a lot of rotation risk in the team at the moment. But I'd still back Rodgers to be able to play, and that's why I've gone for him in there. To be able to going to continue his hot form in front of goal. Then finishing off the midfield and go for Cole Palmer. Although Chelsea have not been performing really well, Palmer is still managing to perform in some of the fixtures, and of course, is also on penalties and is also on set pieces. Not the easiest fixtures coming up with Brighton, who just defeated them in the FA Cup, but Palmer did manage to score a very lucky goal. Then they have Aston Villa, then Southampton and Leicester, which I think Southampton and Leicester back to back. I think those are winnable fixtures, and hope that Palmer will be in his A game for those fixtures, and it's going to be very exciting to see what he can do for those fixtures. Then the other consideration I'd have there is Morgan Gibbs White. He's been very, very good for Nottingham Forest, but as I've mentioned, for Nottingham Forest boys, they have relatively tough fixtures on paper, so that is something to look out for. But for now, I'll stick with the midfield that is there. But it's only Semenyo and Clive, which is the 50-50 decision, and I'd leave that up to you and according to the funds that you have. That's the midfield. So now let's look at the forward line. So this is how the forward line is going to be looking like. Going to be having Gakpo in there at 7.6 million. Just the same reason as Trent and Salah, really. Just double game week, easy fixtures coming up. He was rested today in their loss against Argyle, so Salah and Trent. So I'd expect him to start against although they do play on, was it Wednesday, they do play Everton. So you'll have to see how that one is going to go. So I'd advise you wait for that fixture in case there are going to be any injuries. So yeah, but for now, Gakpo is in the team. Then we have Chris Wood, who's also been on good form, just a bagsman. That's why I've gone for him. Even with the tough fixtures, you never know, he might pop up with a goal here and there. And he's also on penalties, which is very crucial this season. That's why I've gone for him in there. Then you have Mateta finishing off the team, 7.3 million. He's been on form of late. He's been performing really, really well. That's why I've gone for him in there, and I hope that he's going to be able to continue his hot form in front of goal. So yeah, so that's the team. And the other consideration is Watkins. I'd have gone for Watkins instead of Gakpo, and gone for a different goalkeeper like Dean Henderson, or just go for Fabianski and have Fabianski and Ariola in there. So yeah, if Watkins was a little bit fit, since we don't know his fitness status at the moment, just Emery said he might be training. So yeah, so we don't know his fitness status. So that's why I've gone for Gakpo instead. But I do prioritize having Watkins in there against Ipswich and Liverpool. So, but for now we have Gakpo. So that's the forward line, and that's the team that if we're using the wild card, that's the team I'd have gone for. I've mentioned the fixtures as well for Game Week 25, and I'd leave that up to you to decide how you're going to be lining up. Of course, not many people can afford the team, but if you can't afford the team, I think you can just do some tweaks here and there. So with that, that's the Game Week 25 wildcard team. If you managed to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.